ครับก็อันนี้จะเป็นเซสชั่นสุดท้ายของเราในวันนี้แล้วนะครับแต่ว่าก่อนจะหลังจากจบเซสชันนี้ก็คือเรายังมีลุ้นรางวัลกันอยู่นะครับอย่าเพิ่งรีบกลับนะครับก็อันนี้เราปฏิเสธไม่ได้เลยนะครับว่าวันนี้ที่เราฟังมาทั้งวันเนี่ยจะมีแต่ AI แล้วก็เป็น Gemini ซะส่วนใหญ่เลยใช่ไหมครับก็จริงๆแล้วเนี่ยผมมองว่า AI นะครับเข้ามามีบทบาทในชีวิตมนุษย์ค่อนข้างเยอะเลยไม่ว่าจะเป็นทั้งผลดีและก็ในทางที่ไม่ดีก็มีทั้ง2ด้านเลยเนาะเพราะฉะนั้นแล้วเนี่ยผมก็เลยมองว่าเซสชั่นสุดท้ายเนี่ยอาจจะเป็นเซสชั่นที่อาจจะต้องแบบลองพิจารณาดูแล้วครับว่าเราสามารถเอาไปลองปรับยุกต์ใช้ได้ยังไงได้บ้างนะครับกับเซสชั่นที่เป็นในแนวของเอติกอันเพียงหนึ่งอันเดียวของเราในวันนี้นะครับโอเคก็จะเป็นในส่วนของหัวข้อ responsible for generative models นะครับ design for responsibility นะครับโดยคุณ Aye Hninn Khine นะครับก็เดี๋ยวรอเซตอัพสักครู่หนึ่งครับโอเคเขาก็ please welcome Miss Aye Hninn Khine ครับผมขอเสียงปรบมือให้ด้วยครับ
Hello, good evening, and thank you for staying until the final session. I hope all of you good luck in the lucky draw. Okay, so today I am going to talk about the responsible AI. I think you've already catch up a lot about Gemini, Gamma, and other generative AI stuff the whole day. So I believe all of you already have an idea building awesome applications using the Gemini or Gamma or something like that, right? So yeah, I'm going to talk about how do we build these applications ethically. So my talk won't be that much technical, but still very important. So I am a PhD graduate from Prince of Songkhla University and currently working as a research assistant at CS Department, PSU. So yeah, this is the official resource from Google AI Research Team. It will contain how Google built the model, Gemini, and Gamma in a responsible way, and we can apply these principles into our project, model, or even in our dedicated team. You already heard about the Gemma is the most responsible AI model in previous sessions, right? Actually, this is not the first time Google has been promoting the responsible AI. Google has been started promoting the responsible AI and ML fairness in 2014. In 2017, they published Attention is All You Need paper, which is now a building block of all of the large language models. I believe all of you know this paper. And now we are in the Gemini and Gamma era, which are multi-model language model. We get test output based on the test video and image provided. So yeah, with the rise of the deep generative models, now more and more people can be accessible to the generative AI applications like Gemini, GPT, Gemma, and Midjourney or something like that. So yeah, and I remember that in the back days when I was in a master student, I need to spend a lot of my time just for the data annotation, data collections, and because it's really painful to do the fully supervised learning. But with the open source deep generative models, it's becoming a lot easier now. Everyone who has business machine learning knowledge can easily use the API like Gemma and Gemini, so that it's like to build the AI application nowadays is a lot easier than before. Now we see a state-of-the-art performance in computer vision, natural language processing, and mathematics and other reasoning tests as well. So yeah, also the rise of deep learning model gives open access, API, and models to us, and it's also important to use this model in ethical way. So yeah, it like Google said the bold, responsible, and together. It's me when we are building the bold application, awesome application, is also we are responsible and accountable for what we have built. Google has been introduced many AI applications area like AlphaFold, you might have heard it is a protein folding challenge. And Google also introduced the domain-specific large language model, for example, MedPam2, but we cannot easily access the medical specific language model in Vadas AI. If we want to use the medical specific language model, we need to request the Google clouding by telling how we were using this model or something like that. Google has this kind of medical specific models too. Yeah, so when we are building the AI applications, we need to consider like people first or technology first. Actually, there's no like which one is better. Each approach has their own benefits. So people first approach is already starts with identifying the problems with your potential customers and your potential users. But technology first approach is the like we often consider how this technology can help the customers or potential users. So it's always good. We need to make a balance between technology first and people first. So different people will experience the same design problem in different ways at the different moments. For example, users from the historically marginalized people sometimes suffer from the unfairness of the machine learning model. That's happened in, I think, maybe in 2015 or 2017, and bank loan system in an American bank, like they decline all of the credit loan from the black people because when they debug the machine learning model, it appeared that like they use the ethnic and race as a feature in their machine learning model. After that, the machine learning team remove the race and ethnicity variable from their machine learning model, and then it works well for the all ethnic groups and all gender. So yeah, we need to make sure that, for example, if we want to use the mobile data of the daily commuters to do a smart city application or something like that, we might need to consider that maybe older people may be left out because they don't have access to mobile phones or they rarely go out compared to the young people. So we usually need to consider how persuasive is the user problem we are trying to solve and what social technical drivers are likely to impact the user is experiencing the problem. That happened in the word embedding algorithm as well. Word embedding actually is also from the Google research team is word representation techniques that shows the numerical representation or semantically and syntactically words. When the word embedding model has been introduced, the researcher found that they are gender biased. They have a gender bias because men and daughter, the word vectors or the man and daughter are closer than woman and daughter. So at the time, they have another paper like debiasing the word embedding after they tackling the problem of gender bias in their algorithm. So it usually great like we should need to consider the nature of the problem first and understand how users frame the problem. According to my experience, I have like an experience of building hate speech detection classifier for the Burmese language, Arabic language, and Sinhala language. Actually, I am not an expert in the hate speech, right? I am a machine learning person, so that I have to talk a lot with the people from the non-government organization like USAID and UNDP or something like that, because they are the experts, right? I need to collect their opinions, how they are thinking about the problem, and after that, I frame it into a machine learning algorithm. So it's really recommended, firstly, you start with your potential user before doing your technical solutions. And after that, you can try your existing workflow and approach, and you can have have to decide your AI really as the value or something like that. For example, the hate speech detection is very sensitive, right? We don't want to miss out. So at the time, we have to discuss the domain expert and potential customer. Hey, it's really okay if we want to use this AI model, but at the time we end at the hybrid solution. We stay using the AI model, but at the time we have like 2 or 3 content moderators monitoring the AI system. They are performing very well at the time. Okay, so yeah, this is the project from the Google, not from mine. So they are trying to utilize the geospatial data to predict the health outcomes in Nigeria. Before starting the worldwide, they started in Nigeria, and after that, they have a really good result in that they applying these methods to the other countries as well. So yeah, it's a good approach. You start with the small user base, and after that, you can expand it to the other user base. Yeah, Google already published their AI principles since 2018, aiming for the building socially responsible applications. This principle, we also can apply this principle to our own product or own team, so that we are making sure that not our machine learning models failing for the specific group of users. So when we talk about responsible AI in a generative model, it does not mean that we have to control only the output of the system. We need to consider from the input to the output, including the whole training process. For example, if you are trying to train the large language model from scratch, you need to make sure that your pre-trained data must be anonymized, not to include the private data of the users. And it is important that experts and users continuously monitor the output and give feedback so that AI developers can update their system over time. So how do we design responsibility for the AI team? It usually starts with the align with the generated AI content policy. It can be your own, or maybe you can adapt from the Google or Meta or something like that. You can easily find it on their website, but it can be vary from your use case, right? For example, like the hate speech detection system, each country has their unit-specific social cultures. At that time, we have to adapt according to the each uniqueness as well. So firstly, we should have guidelines like what kind of input and output will not be accepted by the system or something like that. And after that, we have to make sure that we input and output not to harm any historically marginalized groups or one ethnic or genders or something like that. So for that, adversarial testing is really important. Actually, the essence of the responsible AI is about testing. You have to test with various diverse sets or data sets. I will talk about adversarial testing later. So like I said before, responsible AI is related to all stages of model development, from pre-trained data to model inference. If we are training model from scratch, for example, you are trying to train a large language model from scratch, firstly, we need to make sure we only use the data with the permissions only, right? Maybe you already had the debate about the Mid-Journey or something like that. They are like some artists really don't want their contents to be trained by the AI, so that we have to make sure that we are using the contents according to their content owners with the copyrights. So yeah, another thing is we also need to make data analysis. Like we need to consider who are the ones who are generating the data. Are they really diverse? Are all the ethnic populations are covered, are all the different religious covers or something like that. For example, when you are trying to do a machine learning model target for Myanmar, you need to consider that Myanmar has various ethnic groups living in, and you need to consider various diverse groups and make sure that your model not harm the historically marginalized people due to the less or resource or less or data or something like that. Yeah, and another one is in model tuning, rather than zero-shot prompting, now you may have the chain of thought. Chain of thought is like rather than how can I say, given the output directly, chain of thought is like a generative model generates the answers each step and give the reasons why we get these outputs. And after that, when we do the inference, we can use the control tokens to enhance the model performance. For example, when we are asking about the medical advice or medical related questions to the large language model, you can use the tag like medical advice so that your model will know that, oh, you are talking about the medical advice. And also we can use the control decoding, which is like control decoding is ranking the outputs according to their priority. And then after that, if you want your model to be lightweight, you can use the lower adaptation technique, which is a metric factorization technique to reduce your model weight so that like you can do the efficient tuning. So yeah, when we make safe for the input and output, the objective of the input safeguard is to implement the pre-processing step, such as you can filter the content and validation checks before you accept the your user input, right? I think someone asked about that. How do we prevent the unwanted queries to the LLM model? So that before you put the user queries into the LLM model, maybe you can build a simple filtering system. If that kind of if a word that is racist or sexist contains in the input query, maybe you can be easily filtered out. That can be done by the machine learning model or just a simple dictionary-based approach. And then in the outputs, also you can apply post-processing techniques, or maybe you can use the human content moderators or re-ranking mechanisms like the decoding. So yeah, like I said, actually the essence of responsible AI is adversarial testing. Adversarial testing, there are two categories in the adversarial testing. Adversarial testing and human-centered testing. Adversarial testing is we use the test data generated by the AI, and human-centered testing, like we use human to test the AI to make sure that they are not giving the bias and unfair answer. And red teaming is come from the cyber security world, cyber security testing. It's like that involves the simulating a real world attack on a system. You intentionally, in the testing state, you intentionally attack the UI system and you monitor that, like, are they giving output, although I am giving the prompt that is socially racist or something like that. And the final step is the community engagement. Community engagement is really important. That's why Google and Cohere down, they are really working closely with the community to get the feedback of their outputs. You can listen to the feedback of your users, how they feel about that, how they think about the benefits and drawbacks of your system or something like that. So when it comes to the fairness, first is like to verify that we are solving the correct problem and validate the framing with the diverse user. Diversity is really important. And then a true understanding of the problem space can help us identify and how to use AI. Yeah, although we don't intentionally want to discriminate someone due to our machine learning algorithm, it can be in many different ways, like in a word embedded system. Why we get the word vadars close in the man and daughter is that in the past time, there are male daughters more than the female daughters, right? That's why when we train the model on the past data, we get those kind of the bias results, and after researchers immediately noticed that, they remove the gender-related words from the training data and retrain it. When the bias happen, it's not actually the fault of someone or something like that. It sometimes depends on the how the data is available or something like that. Like I said before, for example, in Myanmar, some of the ethnic groups, like their literatures are not publicly available online and scarce in resource. That's why maybe we may left out those kind of literatures when we train them model. So it's really just important that we monitor the system and get the expert feedback from the community. So there are many dimensions, but like the one is the accountability. Like we have to consider that who owns the data set and how they maintain the data set. That is the one you have to consider when you fine-tune the model or just fine-tune the model or just training from scratch, and make sure the data set is monitored by the community experts and contain the diverse user, and is the data appropriate for user and use case, and are there any unsuitable applications of the data set that can impact your project, or how was the data is collected, what process, tools, and method was used, or something like that. Before training the model, like I said before, you may need to remove the variables like religion, ethnic, or something like that. Like the medical, especially medical AI is very sensitive to that. For example, before you deploy your model, for example, like the diagnosis system, something like that, it's need to make sure that your testing data contains the all age level, all genders, and all people living across your countries, and all ethnic diverse groups, or something like that. Yeah. So consider a variety of dimension to diversity, and identify that can determine that like we are building the generative AI in an ethical way and fair way. Another useful technique is having the model guests and data guests publicly available. You can easily find in the Google, like they have Gemma model data get and Gemini model data gets and something like that. Model gets usually contain the information about your data set, how you pre-process your model, how you train your model, or something like that. It's just a short document, but people can easily check it whenever they want to use this model. This the good approach. You make your model has publicly available, not contain the confidential data, but just your information about your data set and your model training stage. Yeah, so together is always better, right? So yeah, this is the responsible AI pipeline. They're stuck with the together. We always consult with the community experts. We don't want to left out anyone, and always make sure the fairness and inclusion, and seek community input. So yeah, I will talk about how Gemma used this approach when they build the model, and why the Gemma is claiming as the really responsible model. So since Gemma is an open source model, it can be used for many different use cases, making this question even more important, where it be socially beneficial. So we have taken extra care when they're applying the principles. So how Gamma is designed for the responsible AI? First, make Gamma as safe as possible by design, and they make the evaluation very robustly. You can find in the JAMA official paper, like they make the testing really hard and share with the result transparency with the community, and they have released it responsible generated AI toolkits to facilitate a responsible deployment to your application. So for pre-training the model, before training the JAMA model, they filter the data and remove sensitive elements like personal information, so that like when you input something, it won't like show the private data like the social security numbers, and they use the supervised fine-tuning and reinforcement learning with the human feedback. They don't left out the human in the training process. They stay using the human in the middle of the training, and they claim the promises result with that. And the transparent evaluation, JAMA model have tested for the safety, privacy, societators, and training data memorization, and some dangerous capabilities. So they do the red teaming approach, like I shared in the previous slide, and manual assessment. They stay using the manual assessment, like the memorization or training data or biological weapon development for these very sensitive topics. So human raters compare the result of Gamma model with the Mistral 7 billion to instruct on the 400 prompts covering various safety aspects, and 58% of the time Gamma 7 billion is considered safer than Mistral, and Gamma 2 billion is also considered safer at 56% of the time. So Gamma model also has been performed adversarial testing. When it comes to the adversarial testing, there are two types: explicitly adversarial or implicitly adversarial. And input can be explicitly adversarial when you intentionally input the prompt, that is racist or sexist, and input it implicitly adversarial. Although your prompt looks good, but when they output according to the less or data or something like that. So generated AI can fail in many ways, although it gives the output, like they can, for example, image model, they can stay output the violence output, and for the textual model, they can stay output the unfair output. Yeah, I really recommend you all check the Responsible Generative AI Toolkit. I believe it will all responsible will be useful for not only for the developers, but also for the research students who are undertaking their master or PhD research. So it contains the guidance and best practice at each step of the model development, and there are novel methodology to build the safety classifier with the minimal examples, because Gamma has a safety classifier on top of their model before giving the output to us. Like they make sure that their model filter the output with their simple classifier. So in the toolkit, we will see like how to write a content policy, how to make exhaustive adversarial data sets, and what to include in a model cat or something like that. So another useful one is the Google tool to LIT. LIT is like LLM prompt debugger. We can use this to debug the output. For example, we can see that why we are getting this output, which words have the most influential on the given input or something like that. So that you can see that, oh, why I get this results? Oh, because my prompts contain the starting words or something like that. It's called the science and explainable AI method. So yeah, since the lead to the science methods allow us like which part of the prompt is most responsible for the specific output, the way we can iterate and refine our prompt. Yeah, the final one is the safety classifier. It's really a good approach of the JAMA. Before giving the final output to all of the user, they filter with the binary classifier whether maybe like this is suitable output or not suitable output. We will get the output only if we pass, only if the JAMA model pass this safety classifier. So yeah, for this classifier, they use the Ethos dataset, which is a public dataset of over 1,000 YouTube and Reddit comments with only 200 data points. They get a very reliable outputs. Yeah. So if you want to learn more about the responsible AI and Google result, I usually recommend to check it out the official toolkits and play it with the lit prompt debugging tool. I believe you all will love this. Okay, I will wrap up my talk here, and if you have any questions, I'm welcome.
Okay, for the first question, it is due to the historical data that AI model is biased against one intensity, even though the training data is not biased, but only as parameters.
I'm not sure what is the parameter means in this question, but yeah, historical bias is one of the failure of the AI models. Yeah, like when you use the for example, like when you use the gender, that's happened a lot in the CV screening or something like that. For the computer science or programmers role, when the gender is included in the CV form, the female applicants automatically reject that because of that. Because in the past, computer science and IT and engineering field is really dominated by the men. So at that time, that's the failure of the historical data.
Yeah, for the next question, that how do we choose the parameter responsibly and how do we know that they are not biased before product release?
Yeah, adversarial testing, of course. For the parameters, in the Gemini API, you can have your own threshold parameters. Maybe you can try in the Gemini API. It have a safety threshold. How do you want to block for the harassment? How do you want to block about the something? Hateful comments or something like that, but there is no one size fits all method. You have to test a lot with the diverse users and set the best one for that. But you need to remember that like they can still be a failure. That's why it's really important that like you have someone or who constantly monitor the outputs of your system.
Yes, and next question, how can we make sure that our model is responsible and respect for the diversity when we have less data set than one significant group of people?
Very good question, yeah. That's why Google also recommend community engagement and community expert. For that, when you don't have the data of the specific groups, for example, let's say there are A, B, and C in a one group in a one country, and you are building the medical diagnosis system, AI medical diagnosis system for that country, and you have only data of the A and B. The C is not presented in your training data. One thing, some suggest I like to do the synthetic data generation, but it's not really good because it's not the real data, it's the AI generated data, right? The one is the like you collect the data for the group C. Yeah, that's the way we should go for.
Okay, so are there any current collaboration between Google and the Thailand government for the AI governance policy?
Yeah,
I think this question
yeah.
I think for the Thai government, we currently don't have any information yet. Yes. That is thank you for Mr. I โอเคครับก็สำหรับวันนี้จบไปแล้ว9เซสชั่นแบบแน่นๆเลยกันนะครับก็